that cable car.
Nice work, sir.
Thank you, Sergeant.
I guess that winds up the Levinson case.
Push the seat back a little ways. It's a lot better.
If I were you, Commissioner, I'd spend the evening in a hot tub.
A good idea if I can talk 6 people into climbing in with me. Gotta make a seance.
You're going to a seance tonight, sir?
Afraid so.
Well, don't be afraid. I've been. They're a little spooky, sure, but it's worth it considering the information you pick up.
Information you pick up?
Yeah. What's the name of your seer, sir?
Not my seer, it's the seer of a friend. A very dear friend has just been told her husband is coming back from the dead.
From the dead? That's quite a trick.
Yeah. That's why I want to be there.
We are here among the dead, waiting for you who are out there in the great beyond to communicate with us. We ask that you make your presence known. Ours is a distinguished group here tonight. Commissioner of Police Stuart McMillan and his lovely wife. Magician Harry Hastings, known professionally as the Great Mandini, who last week here at this table heard the spirit of Arthur Kendall speak to us. The gracious and beautiful Nora Dane. And most important of all, Arthur asked that his beloved wife Evie be here with us, and she is. Evie Kendall is here and waiting, accompanied by her doctor, Eli Spake. Join hands, please.
Well, old Gabriel's apparently putting in an appearance tonight. Now, that's her best trick. From here on, it's usually downhill.
I feel the presence of Arthur Kendall. Arthur is trying to get through. Arthur, we know you are here. We ask you to join us in our circle of love.
Evie. Evie! Evie! Oh, Evie. Oh, Evie. Why? Why did you kill me? Why did you murder me?
Evie, now listen to me. Listen to me, Evie. It's all right. Now, come on, I'll take you home.
Sally, come with me, please.
Are you coming, Nora?
No, I'd just be in the way, but please tell her again how awful I feel. God, to lose your husband's bad enough, but to have him called from the dead. I should know. Mine called from Hong Kong last night to tell me that the alimony'd be late again.
Oh, well, at least it was a friendly call. Nora, will you tell Mac that I went with Evie?
Madam Zara, would you mind telling me how this trick was done?
I most certainly would mind. Do you think I shake like this after a trick? A cheap trick. It's true. I do sometimes resort to tricks. I can command this trumpet to float in midair. But, Commissioner, what you have just seen was a true visitation.
Sally wanted you to know she went with Evie.
Okay, thanks, Nora.
Admit, I wonder why I was chosen myself. Why he picked me for one of the great psychic experiences. Obviously, there is a purity about me that even I hadn't recognized. But I was ready. And what you saw was a true miracle from the grave, an anguished soul pointing an accusing finger at the person who murdered him. I think I'm going to give up the trumpet.
Yes, ma'am. Harry.
I don't know, Mac. I don't know how she did it. I've checked every wall and every baseboard, and I don't know. I know she's a first-class fraud, but last week I heard him, and tonight I saw him.
How dare you, Harry Hastings? I have seen many of your tricks, but I have always remained polite. And now tonight, you see a true visitation, and you can't even be gracious about it. You are riddled with jealousy. But I take that as a supreme compliment.
Then I trust you'll take it as a supreme compliment if I call the bunco squad to go over this room.
I am deeply honored.
I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him.
Of course you didn't, Evie. We all know that.
And why did he say it? Why?
We don't know that it was Arthur.
Mac doesn't believe in ghosts. I don't either.
Look, she really should be resting now.
No.
Evie, you're going to take a sedative. You've got to rest.
No, not yet. I want to tell Mac and Sally everything.
That can wait till tomorrow.
No, now. Mac, you and Sally remember this little item? A memento of my suicide attempt 2 years ago.
I don't think that now is the time to discuss it. Eli's right. Let's wait till tomorrow. Good night's sleep.
I'm not discussing suicide. I'm talking about this razor. After I tried to use it, Arthur hid it. I never knew where.
That's right. Then, maybe a month ago.
I'm telling this, Eli. A month ago today, I found it lying open on my dressing room table. And only a week later, I opened a closet door and found a suit of Arthur's clothes hanging there, caked with blood.
Darling, must you?
Yes, I must. And yesterday, an oil portrait of Arthur that had been put away in storage. Come with me, please. It suddenly reappeared. There on the wall. When the maid saw it, she quit. I stood here staring up at it and remembered the day that I tried to quit. That was the worst fight that Arthur and I ever had. The very next night, he called from our cabin in the mountains and asked me to join him there. But I didn't. No, I didn't. I wasn't the one that fired that gun. I never went.
Evie, you were proven innocent.
Yes. Yes, you did that for me.
No, a jury did.
Evie, you've been through more than enough for one night. Now, please, take a sedative now.
No. No.
Evie, what is it?
Smells like tobacco smoke.
It was my last birthday present to him. Why is this happening? Why?
That's why we're here, Evie. Find out why.
And Mac will, Evie.
It's Arthur. It's Arthur. Find him, please. He's got to be here. He is here. I can feel his presence. He's in this room right now. Show yourself, Arthur. Show yourself, Arthur.
Ghost giving me the willies. My grandmother used to live in a haunted house. I was a little girl at the time.
Your grandmother used to live in a haunted house?
Mm-hmm, was all she could afford.
Did you ever see any ghosts?
Oh, sure, I saw them. But I never heard one talk like you two did last night. Arthur Kendall talked, wow.
He talked.
Somebody talked.
But what did he sound like with his head shot off?
She's got a point there, you know that?
I mean, that poor man up there in the mountains trying to get a little rest. He opens the door and there stands somebody with a shotgun. What do I mean, somebody? If he said his wife killed him, she did. And that's why his poor ghost is earthbound. No one will believe him.
Mildred, Evie did not kill him.
Oh, I know she's one of your closest friends, Mrs. McMillan. But if Arthur said she did it, she did it. Oh, would you like a little coffee?
Thank you.
Oh, I better get some fresh.
Mac, what if Evie starts thinking like Mildred does? She'll become convinced that she did kill him, and it'll drive her insane. You can't let that happen, Mac. She's counting on you.
I know. The problem is trying to figure out what our friend the ghost is counting on.
We covered every square inch of that seance room, sir. Nothing. Marnie Ellsworth couldn't have been more cooperative.
She's been waiting all her life to be investigated by a bunco squad.
Yeah, well, I also had them check into her past. Always a lot of hocus pocus, but always within the law.
What's that odor?
Oh, oil of cloves, sir. I got a molar that's killing me. Nice smell, huh?
Very nice. There it is.
boy. When Harry Hastings says a man's home is his castle, he isn't kidding.
Hello in there.
Well, now what do we do?
We say open sesame. You see?
Mac, I'm on lower level 2.
I'll go first, Sergeant.
It's wet.
Hello, Mac.
Sergeant Enright, this is the great Mandini.
Sergeant? Well, we're getting the hands in shape, putting together our new show.
Didn't know you gave him any more, Harry.
Well, except on special occasions, I don't. Like the circus, the day of magic, the day of the magician is almost over. Night of the wizard, twilight of the gods, you might say. However, I'm booked into one last grand tour. We're opening tonight at the Club Castile. Toothache, Sergeant?
No, I'm just a little on edge.
Feel better?
It's gone.
Temporary relief. In a few hours, it'll wear off, so I advise you to check with your dentist. Otherwise, I'm in trouble with the ADA. Here, Sergeant, let me show you another. Take a card.
Harry, Enright and I are here to talk about last night.
Mac, what if I were to tell you... What if I were to tell you that I didn't think it was a trick?
Oh, come on, Harry. You don't believe in ghosts any more than I do. You've exposed every case we ever handed you. He's caught more frauds than any man I know. Given expert testimony in court, time and time again. All negative, Harry. No such thing as ghosts. Don't tell me now, after all this, that you're suddenly going to start believing in them.
I know what I saw. Nobody could be more shaken than I.
You can't honestly believe that Arthur Kendall came back from the dead and talked to us.
Mac, please try to understand what all this means to me. I mean, the search to find the supernatural has been the quest of every great magician, and for obvious reason. With all our illusions, tricks, devices, we still secretly want to believe that such a thing does exist, called the true magic, that extra step into the unknown. And last night, after all these years, I witnessed it. I heard it. I saw it. My body, I felt cold, clammy. Because I knew that here it is. The dead can return. And no wizard of legerdemain, myself included, could ever create an illusions so real as the ghost of Arthur Kendall.
The medium sat here, Nora Dane here, and the magician here. Evie Kendall here and Dr. Spake here. Sally and I sat over here. Arthur Kendall appeared about here from my sightline.
We checked, sir, and there was no evidence of projection equipment or mirrors to create the image.
That means the image was created by the presence of a real person.
In the flesh, sir.
These drapes concealed the door through which he obviously came.
But, sir, that door was locked.
It was locked when I tried it. Doesn't mean it was locked when he tried.
Well, Commissioner, conducting your own private seance, I see.
No, just consulting the future, Chapman. Trying to see if the district attorney is ever going to win a case.
That's good, Mac. Very good. Now look into the past and see if you should have won the case of Evie Kendall.
Why? You thinking of putting a ghost up on the witness stand?
I'm dreaming about it. Especially about the part where he testifies to the fact that she killed him.
What's your angle?
Justice isn't an angle, Commissioner.
Why don't you turn that into a bumper sticker? You know that Evie Kendall was acquitted of that murder. And even if she walked into this room right now and confessed, the laws of double jeopardy would prevent you or anyone else from taking legal recourse. So, what's your angle?
Well, let's see. She testified that she took sleeping pills that night. But did she? She could have driven up to that mountain cabin, killed him, and who would have known? If I can prove she lied about that alibi, we've got her on perjury, 1 to 14 years.
Look, Chapman. Evie Kendall is in a very delicate and dangerous state of mind. This is not the time to force her to relive that case with a lot of hard questions.
You and your wife are just too close to her, Max. She could have done it, you know, and a thing like murder shouldn't be allowed to just lie there.
No, it shouldn't, and it should have been solved by now.
It could have been solved by now. Tell me, Mac, what bothers you more? That you saw a ghost? Or that you let a murderess get off scot-free?
How about my specialty?
No, just rub my neck. Did you ever have the feeling you were being used, Sally?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's the way I feel. Hello?
Commissioner, I found a report that a lawyer now dead was called upon to draw up a contract of some kind between Arthur Kendall and Harry Hastings.
What kind of a contract?
Well, the deal was never made, sir, so we don't know.
But Harry Hastings does.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pandora's box. Contrary to legend, Pandora never opened the box, never discovered the contents. Its hideous creatures were never set loose over the countryside. It was taboo, forbidden. And for that reason, in 1704, this lock was placed on it. Through all the long years and the many centuries since then, Pandora's box has remained
Nora, I
closed.
wish Joe would come back.
Shut.
They're divorced. My little romantic, you do know what that means.
I don't want to discuss it.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a rare and eerie experience. Tonight, this night, for the first time in history, Pandora's box is to be opened.
Scare you?
Great looking. I think Pandora's gonna jump out.
And lying in your lap. You're the one who ordered ringside.
I love it. Mac, he's terrifying those women. I'm not easily frightened, but if I were, well, it'd be enough to drive you batty. You do think it's a little scary, don't you, Mac?
Do you suppose that was the deal?
What?
The deal between Arthur and Harry. To drive Evie out of her mind.
Horrible.
Come in.
Great show, old great Mandini.
Absolutely terrifying. You want to see my goosebumps?
Sally, no.
I could show you a few of my own.
You mean you scare yourself?
Only on opening night.
That Pandora's Box illusion's quite a horror show, Harry.
I hope so.
You always end your act with a number that leaves them screaming?
That's my trade, Mac. It's part of it anyway.
It could scare the wits out of anybody.
I didn't make that deal with Arthur Kendall, Mac. In fact, when he asked me to drop by that afternoon, I assumed that he and Evie were both there, and it was just for a visit. I quickly discovered that he was alone, and...
It's a surprise party, Harry. Evie's birthday. It'll be quite a group, 20, 30 people. Now, just before Evie comes down the stairs, I'm gonna make sure there's a power failure.
Power failure? You're suggesting she come downstairs in the dark?
Well, why not? That's the idea, surprise. But what a surprise. Just before the lights go up, you unleash those squiggly creatures from Pandora's box.
Arthur, are you aware that she's never seen that trick before?
She's never even heard of it. That's what's so great. She won't know what's happening.
Women have been known to faint when I perform that illusion, Arthur. You know that. You know it.
Evie won't faint. Heaven forbid.
No, Arthur. The answer is a definite no.
What do you mean, no? Harry, I'm not asking you to do me a favor. I'm engaging your professional services, standard contract. In fact, now that you mention it...
I didn't mention it.
I'm having one drawn up. Name your price. The lawyer will fill it in.
Good day to you, Arthur.
You're not leaving just yet. What are you trying to pull?
What are you trying to pull, Kendall?
Harry Hastings, the great Mandini, magician extraordinaire, is that it? All right, I'll lay a bundle on you for just one performance.
Including health and welfare, including that?
Harry, you may need health and welfare sooner than you think. You know, magicians aren't exactly in demand these days. Or do you plan to stand on local street corners and pull rabbits from hats in hopes that people will throw pennies at you?
I should have hit him. I wanted to, but I didn't. I simply got out of there. Mac, that's the last time I talked to Arthur Kendall.
Why would he want to scare her like that?
Why? To drive her back to an asylum, of course.
For her money, Sally, that's why he married her.
That's also why he wanted to get rid of her. Imagine thinking about money when you're face to face with a creature as lovely and as fragile as Evie Kendall. She is quite simply the most exquisitely beautiful woman in the world.
Mac, he's in love with Evie. Isn't that nice?
I hope so.
Remember that movie with Charles Boyer?
Yeah, and Ingrid Bergman.
Come back, Mac.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what Arthur was trying to do. Gaslight her.
And what someone's still trying to do. But who now?
Well, now, oh daughter of the great criminologist, who's got the most to gain?
I can't think of anybody but Arthur.
Exactly.
But he's dead.
You sure?
Well, how could he be alive? He couldn't. How?
I'm going to exhume Arthur's body.
Oh, Mac.
And I'll have to get Evie's permission.
Suppose we're wrong.
Don't think I haven't thought of that.
I feel fine. But you obviously have some bad news for me. What is it, Mac?
Not bad news. No, I have a proposal I'd like to make to you, but I don't want it to upset you.
I'm fine, really. Propose.
Evie, has it ever occurred to you that Arthur might still be alive?
Mac, how can you even say that?
Because no one can prove his appearance at the seance was a trick, and I refuse at this late stage of my life to start believing in ghosts.
Mac, do you really think he's alive?
We don't know, of course, Evie.
We have to be sure. There's only one way.
How do you do that?
Exhume the body, and I need your permission.
No, you're taking a terrible risk subjecting her to this.
Eli, please. Mac, if you feel it's the right thing to do, then do it.
Commissioner, I'm sure you're aware that you're dealing with a woman who has a past history of emotional disturbance. Now, during the trial, she transferred her dependence to you, and that's all right. But ideally, since the trial, as her psychiatrist, I should have come to bear some of that responsibility. Well, I didn't. It remains with you. You're the one she counts on. And if you fail her, she's gone. Only this time there won't be any recovery. Now, do I make myself clear?
Yes, you do, Dr. Spig, but there's one thing you don't understand. Sally and I love Evie, too.
Where's Sykes? He went to get the coroner's report.
Did he say anything?
Only that he wanted to tell you himself, though he was smiling.
Commissioner, I've got great news for
Great, let's hear it.
Well, first of all, because of the intervening year, it was impossible to get any fingerprints. Did you get a haircut?
Yeah. Come on, Sykes.
Thought so. Well, then we checked for bone fractures. And there was no discrepancy between the corpse and Arthur Kendall's medical record.
What did you find out?
The dental plates. It so happens that the man who did those plates is a friend of mine. As a matter of fact, he did this bridge. Take a look at that work, will you?
Oh, yeah, it's lovely.
Is that beautiful?
Oh, lovely.
Well, he's a fine man. He's one of the best in the profession. And I talked to him personally.
Sykes, what exactly did he tell you?
A perfect match. No question about it.
About what?
That the corpse is Arthur Kendall.
He's dead?
You bet he's dead.
Thank you, Sykes.
Well, I must say he didn't seem too pleased.
Sykes. He didn't want the body to be Arthur Kendall.
He didn't? Well, nobody told me.
Well, what would you have done about it if they had?
Well, I could have been a little less cheerful.
No.
Are they sure, Mac?
Arthur's dead.
And we're back where we started, aren't we? Oh, Mac. You don't know how I was hoping this would all finally be at an end. That we'd know who it was. I was counting on it.
I was counting on it, too, Evie. I was convinced. Otherwise, I wouldn't put you through all this.
Well, there's nothing to do but go home again, is there?
I'll take you home, Evie. Mac, why don't you pick me up there?
Dr. Spake, please. Commissioner McMillan calling. Hello, Eli? Mac. Yes, we've just had the report. The body is Arthur Kendall's. No, I've already told her. So I'm calling you. Sally's taking her home now, and I think it's a good idea if you were there when they arrived. All right, we can talk about it later.
Excuse me, sir.
Boy, if I was ever set up for one, this is it.
Set up for it?
By a first-class criminal mind, too. He's been ahead of me every step of the way. He knew that seance would terrify Evie, but not enough to drive her insane. Just enough to make her lean on me. A little bit more. He knew I'd exhume the body, which would give her new hope, knowing full well the body was Arthur's. And he knew what that would do to her. Using me to push her right on the edge of madness. Well, if he knows me that well, then I must know him. Well, who is it?
Maybe I better call Dr. Spake.
Here. Your husband called earlier. Thank you for bringing her home, Mrs. McMillan.
I'll just wait downstairs for Mac. My coat and purse right there. That was it. That was the noise. Nothing. The window to the French door's open.
Sally. Sally.
It's the wind. It's just the wind. I know what you're trying to do. If Evie were to come downstairs and see her best friend screaming like a banshee, then it would really drive her mad. What am I talking to? I'm talking to the wind.
Sally!
You're dead! You're dead!
you're to blame for this. You may have destroyed her tonight.
Human mind. It's a primitive fear of the unknown. It's remarkable what it can do to you.
Who could it be?
Fear of the dark.
Motive, motive, motive.
Mildred says you disturbed his grave. She says they don't like that. Mildred also
Sally,
says...
stop thinking about that now. Really.
Right. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going thinking about it.
Mildred.
Oh, it's you, Commissioner.
Sorry, Mildred. I thought I heard it. The roast beef was very good tonight, wasn't it?
Well, who could eat with all those poltergeists roaming around? Poltergeists. Those are the destructive ones, you know. Want one?
No.
Oh. Want another one?
No, one was enough.
Well, I asked. Good night.
It was Mildred getting ice cubes.
I thought it was Mildred. It was just that I was thinking that... When I was a little girl, I was afraid of the dark. So sometimes my mother left the light on for me.
You want one on now?
Not as long as you're here. Thank you, Mac. I love you too.
This is a Richmond lock. It's identical to the one found on the side door of the medium seance room. To open the door, you turn the lock to the right. You close the door, it locks again. Could you open the door, please? Open it. Yeah, thank you.
Then it was locked from the outside.
That's right.
Whoever impersonated Arthur Kendall at the seance had to have an accomplice on the inside.
That's right.
Anything else?
Yes. We vacuumed the room thoroughly. The lab has analyzed the contents.
And?
Well, we found the usual dust, flakes of phosphorescent paint, and these. Pine needles, caked with mud. Could have been tracked in the bottom of somebody's shoes. It's silver-tip Pacific fir, endemic to high altitudes. Found in mountains all through this region.
There's a grove of them up at Kendall's mountain cabin. All right, let's take a run up there. Thank you, Sykes.
Thank you.
Since you're so busy, Sergeant, you know I don't mind driving.
No, I can handle it, Commissioner. I can handle it.
You should have gotten the number of that dentist that Sykes was recommending so highly.
Well, as a matter of fact, sir, I did.
Oh, good. When's your appointment?
Huh? Oh, it's right about now.
You sure you don't want me to drive?
No, I'm fine, sir. I'm fine. Commissioner, I wish you remember that I'm the one with the gun.
Thank you, Sergeant. I'll try to keep that in mind.
Who do you think it was, sir?
I don't know. Let's go see what he didn't want us to see.
Hello?
Evie. Oh, Evie. This is Arthur. Evie. I must see you. I must see you, Evie.
Where are you?
At the old beach house. Oh, hurry. Hurry to me, Evie.
Yes. Yes, I'll be there.
Enright. Arthur Kendall's tobacco. Special blend.
Well, now we know where he got the stuff to frighten Mrs. Kendall. He being whoever's impersonating Arthur Kendall.
But why? Why smoke it when no one else is around, unless you enjoy it?
Well, you know how it is, sir. You try it.
Right.
You like it. Commissioner? Whoever it was had female company. Take a look.
That's the dress Nora Dane wore the night of the seance.
Then you think that she was the one that opened the door that night?
Now I do.
Well, then Nora's husband, Joe, must be our ghost. She just pretended that he was overseas. Actually, he was here all the time trying to gaslight Mrs. Kendall.
Why? Nora and Joe have nothing to gain if Evie's put away. Only Arthur Kendall, her husband, could get the money.
Well, maybe they made a deal with Arthur Kendall. Well, that's no good. He's dead. This thing really hurts. Who else had a motive? Yeah, that's better. You know, sir, I bet I wind up needing a bridge just like Sykes. It's expensive, too. Because you always have to have two of them made in case you lose one or one gets broken or...
Enright?
Oh, I'm sorry about the odor, sir, but it really helps.
You're a genius.
Well?
Call that dentist.
From here?
Find out if Arthur Kendall had a spare plate made.
That's it. Kendall had a spare, and he stuck it in the corpse's mouth.
And pick up Evie. I want her in protective custody. And put out an APB on Arthur Kendall.
Yes, sir. Boy, an all-points bulletin on a dead man. Wait till they hear this one. Commissioner?
Yeah?
If Arthur Kendall is alive, who's dead?
I'll get the answer to that right now.
Arthur Kendall is dead, Mac. You've got to believe me.
You're lying, Nora. Arthur Kendall is alive, and you're conspiring with him to drive Evie insane.
Oh, Mac, I'm surprised.
Come off it, Nora. School's out.
You don't know what you're saying.
Don't I?
No.
You think an investigation won't prove you and Arthur are having an affair?
Oh, all right. So we had an affair. So what?
So what? Out of that affair came the plan to get Evie's money and take off.
Oh, now you're the one
Of
who's
course,
crazy.
you had to get rid of a husband, and Arthur had to get rid of a wife. It worked out just fine, didn't it?
It isn't.
Get Evie committed! Not too difficult where a man as clever as Arthur is concerned.
Mac, you're wrong.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Something went wrong that night at the cabin, didn't it? Your cute little trick backfired, and all of a sudden you're involved in a murder.
Mac, you're wrong. You are dead wrong.
Am I? Why don't we ask Joe? Why don't we call Joe in Hong Kong and ask him? Or maybe we'd be wasting our time because Joe's dead. That is Joe in the coffin, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, that's Joe. Poor dumb Joe. No matter what you think, it started off without wanting anyone dead. It began when Arthur invited Joe and me up to the cabin for the weekend. Joe, he had no idea what was up. He just thought it was fun time.
Then Arthur called Evie and said he was up there.
Yes, that was the plan. When she arrived, I was to say, why, Evie, don't you remember? You phoned me and invited Joe and me to spend the weekend here. Then when she went home, Arthur was going to insist that he hadn't called her at all. He was, at a motel halfway down the mountain, waiting to get the results. But it got late and Joe and I went to bed. Then in the middle of the night, there was a knock on the door, and I told Joe that must be Evie.
Then Arthur planted his own ID on Joe's body. Wristwatch, ring, wallet, and spare dental plate.
Joe's unrecognizable. I don't know how I let Arthur talk me into this. You see, he figured that if Evie wasn't found guilty of murder, he would just destroy her as his own ghost. Clever, huh?
Yeah, clever.
Clever man. And such a good actor. When I phoned him at the motel to tell him what had happened, he really made me believe that he hadn't planned it at all. Actually had me convinced that Evie really had done it. And I used to think Joe was the dumb one.
If Arthur was at the motel, he couldn't have killed Joe.
Then Evie did do it.
Evie's not here, sir. Dr. Spake talked to her on the phone, asked her not to go out tonight, but she wouldn't listen to him. She took a gun. She told him that she was going to go out to the beach house and kill Arthur Kendall. Now, I've looked everywhere for that address, sir, but I can't find it. Dr. Spake doesn't know where it is either. I can't find anybody who does.
Well, I can. You were there 3 or 4 summers ago, Sally. Now try and remember.
I'm trying, Mac. I remember the street, and then I remember I used to turn right at a billboard. I remember the billboard because it used to say Wilson for DA, and that was that guy that you caught trying to bribe the jury.
Well, don't you remember a more current landmark?
Yes, there. Mother Boland's brown bread. Turn right there, right there. This is it, Mac, I'm sure. Oh, Mac, we're too late.
Phone's dead. Call for the car.
It's Arthur. It's Arthur Kendall. It's Evie's.
That's correct, Enright. Yeah, the ambulance is leaving now. Yes, he's alive.
We put out an APB on Mrs. Kendall. And Nora Dane's been booked on criminal conspiracy.
Very good.
Anything else I can do, sir?
Yeah. Get a good night's sleep.
Thank you, sir.
Feel okay?
Poor Evie. Imagine being driven to murder.
You think she shot Arthur?
You don't?
Not with that fight that went on in the house.
Of course, Evie's no match for Arthur. He must have fought with a man.
Or if we believe in the Equal Opportunity Act, a very strong woman.
Mac, come on, you're onto something.
Well, let's start with the murder of Nora's husband, Joe. Nora says she didn't do it. Evie says she didn't do it.
Who do you think's telling the truth?
Well, maybe they both are.
If that's the case, we're out of suspects.
Well, there are plenty of suspects, but we're out of his clues.
Well, anyway, at least Arthur's alive.
At least you don't have to believe in ghosts any. Sally, I love you.
You better. What did I do? at least tell me what I said.
That's what I said.
Central, go ahead, sir.
Sergeant Enright, quickly. Sally, suppose somebody loved Evie very much and knew she was being driven insane.
And he killed Joe that night, thinking it was Arthur?
Suppose Arthur was about to kill Evie, and somebody walked in on him.
They fought, and he got Evie's gun, and he shot him.
Now, what would your average run-of-the-mill killer do in a case like that?
Kill Evie to get rid of all the witnesses.
Unless he thought she was the most beautiful, most exquisite woman in the world.
Harry Hastings.
Enright, sir.
Sergeant, get a squad and meet me at Harry Hastings immediately.
Yes, sir.
You stay here.
But Mac...
Wait in the car and wait for the police.
As you know, I'm not frightened, but I'll just stay with you so you can see I'm not frightened.
Come on.
Tell me those are not bats.
Okay, they're not bats.
Mac, why is he doing this?
Because they're the weapons he knows the best. Come on, do you think he can make it?
Evie!
My last illusion. She isn't dead. She's just resting. She'll wake up in a few minutes.
Is that the only way you could get her to come with you? Hypnosis?
Well, fortunately, Mac, it's part of my trade. You see, mesmerizing an audience helps create certain illusions, makes them quite real, quite real. You agree, don't you, Sally? Mac?
Mac, he's hypnotizing us.
Harry, forget it.
Yes, of course. You're too strong a substance.
No use, Harry. Police are on their way.
The police? I've catacombs here. I have underground passages. You'll not be able to find me. I'm going to keep her here. She's going to be with me. She'll be mine. I'm going to protect her. I'm going to protect her from all of you. See, Mac, it's so simple. I love her. I have always loved her. I tried to explain that to her, that I didn't want her to be hurt anymore. No, Mac, don't do it.
Harry, think of Evie. Think how she'll feel when she finds out you've killed us. Evie won't love you anymore.
Oh, yes, she'll understand. She doesn't trust you anymore. She'll trust me now. No. I'm the one she called when she went to meet Arthur at the beach house. It was me.
Then why hypnotize her? It's because she stopped trusting you when she saw you shoot Arthur. And she'll hate you if you do this, Harry.
No.
She'll hate you forever.
No, Matt,
She'll
don't say
hate
it.
you.
Don't say it, Joe. She won't hate me. She'll love me. She will love me.
How do you like my fine feathered friend?
Be glad you don't have to clean his cage. There. Careful.
You're gonna be all right, Evie.
Harry.
For a minute. Didn't even act like a regular ghost. Showing up at a seance and accusing somebody of murder who didn't even do it.
Arthur thought Evie had done it.
Well, how could he think that when he wasn't even dead?
Oh, Evie, that's marvelous.
And that Harry Hastings, what did he think when the ghost said Evie murdered him?
Well, what do you think? He thought he'd gotten away with it.
Well, if Arthur really had been dead, he could have used his supernatural powers.
Harry didn't think about that.
Okay, bye, Evie. Evie sends you 40 million kisses, and I am to deliver them personally.
Oh, Mildred.
Yeah, right. Good night. Oh, do you think it's safe to take the hemlock off the door?
Yes, Mildred. And the juniper, and the henbane.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Smart Guy, before all this kissing starts, give a girl a break. What was the big clue that made all the lights pop on and say Harry Hastings?
You don't know?
I don't know.
You almost guessed it yourself.
I know. I almost guessed it was something that you said when they put Arthur in the ambulance.
I said you don't have to believe in ghosts anymore.
Of course, Harry Hastings believed completely in the ghost of Arthur Kendall because he believed that he had killed him. Oh, I should have gotten there.
Hey. 40 million, right here.
Coming, Master. Don't you believe me, Mac?
Of course I believe you.
still think I've met him, don't you, Mac?
Did I say that? I don't believe I did.
I didn't say you said it. I said you're thinking it. I know your mind.
My mind is thinking maybe roast beef, wild rice, and perhaps a good salad.
You mean you really believe me?
Of course I do.
How could you possibly believe me?
If the situation were reversed, wouldn't you believe me? If a strange woman wrote a composition and named it after me and sent me flowers and invited us to dinner and I said I didn't know her and never met her, well, what would you think?
You know exactly what I'd think. No wonder I'm riddled with guilt. Completely innocent and riddled with guilt. Listen, Mac. Do you suppose that's blues for Sally Ann?
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize you've been ringing the buzzer through what might be my song?
Well, that's because we're here for dinner, and I'm hungry. Sims! Sims? Sims! Call an ambulance, Sally.
Operator, get an ambulance to 604 North Lombard, apartment 1203.
How is he?
He's unconscious, but his pulse is regular.
Sally?
In here, Mac. Mac, look at this. Why would he keep it?
Was the scrapbook open?
Just like this.
Maybe that's what he was reading when he was attacked.
But I've never known anybody to keep a scrapbook of bad reviews.
Peter Warlock. Isn't he the critic you read to every Wednesday?
Mm-hmm. He certainly never had a kind word for Buzz Sims.
Wonder why a good musician would keep such bad reviews.
What's that funny look on your face?
And it's signed, affectionately, Sally Ann. I believe you.
RD1, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'll send the number over to the DMV. We should have a report in the morning.
Let's find out about the people close to Sims.
Sir,
He's got a girlfriend who calls herself a Baroness. Baroness von Hugo from Milwaukee.
Anyone else?
Well, there's his manager, Joe Layton.
Who?
The doctor says there's no need to cancel. We can go ahead as scheduled. And there's still a few choice seats available.
Here comes the commissioner.
Dr. Haley, report to your office, please.
How about a statement, Commissioner?
We've just begun our investigation. Nothing yet.
What about the new piece Buzz is premiering at the concert? Blues for Sally Ann's dedicated to Mrs. McMillan, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but it's not relevant to this case.
Miss McMillan, how well do you know Buzz Sims?
We've never met.
Oh, come on, Mrs. McMillan.
Mrs. McMillan has made her statement. You may use it.
Dr. Allen.
Any further statements will come from my office in the
Just
morning.
make sure you find Buzz's attacker before the concert, Commissioner.
You're a new face.
Joe Layton.
Oh. Well, the police are working on several leads now, but none for publication.
What leads?
You're not listening, Ken. I said none for publication. And no more statements tonight.
I'm not kidding, Commissioner. Buzz Sims is a multi-million-dollar talent. We expect your best men on this case.
This may come as a surprise to you, Mr. Layton, but you don't have to have $1 million talent to get our best men. We use them on every case.
Maybe you better excuse us, baby. I think the commissioner wants to ask me a few questions.
So that's Sally M. Then I keep forgetting. It is a blues.
I hope you'll excuse the Baroness, but then I suppose you're as puzzled at my naming a composition after you as she is.
Well, I don't think I was exactly what she expected. I hope you're not disappointed.
No, not at all. I'm delighted.
What can you tell us about tonight? Any idea who attacked you?
Well, I didn't see anybody, but then I was working. And when I'm working, I'm always alone, no matter who's there.
Not even a glimpse?
No.
Mr. Sims, you have a picture of my wife on your piano.
Yeah?
Would you mind telling me how it got there?
Sure, it came through the mail, right after my new composition was announced. I assumed you sent it.
No.
Well, that's strange, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Do you know anybody who'd want to kill you?
No.
Ever received a threatening letter?
Quite a few. But then they were all from girls who threatened to kill themselves if I wouldn't marry them.
Then you have no enemies.
I'm not certain I haven't got any enemies, Commissioner, but then I'm not sure I have any friends either.
You know him?
No, but I know who he is. That's Manny Sky. He used to be Buzz's drummer. Why would he be coming to see him?
Why wouldn't he?
Buzz fired him.
You know why?
Nobody does. Manny was a terrific drummer, and supposedly they were really close friends, but Buzz fired him.
And his girlfriend, the Baroness, from Milwaukee? What have you read about her?
Well, she's sort of an over-the-hill groupie who jumps from celebrity to celebrity. She met the Baron while she was in Europe the summer after high school, but she dumped him 6 months later.
I suppose you know how she met Buzz?
Mm-hmm. On a balcony overlooking a ski slope in Innsbruck during his last concert tour.
It's nice to know that all those hours you spent reading magazines aren't wasted.
Well, if you want the news one... The newspaper office. That's where it came from. It had to be.
What?
That picture on Buzz's piano, it's got to be the one I gave Dorothy Clark. She loaned it to me again last year when I was chairman of the Arts Bowl. The newspaper needed a picture so quickly, but they never returned it. That's got to be where it came from. I remember I was worried about it because it was signed affectionately Sally M. But the editor said it was all right. He said he could crop out the signature. I'm going to call the newspaper right now. Hello? This is Sally M. Who is this?
Who is this? What kind of a voice?
Well, it was a man's voice, I think. I'm not sure. It was muffled. He said to tell you that if you didn't get out of Buzz Sims' life, that he'd see to it that Blues for Sally M becomes a reality.
You, my dear. You're usually so prompt. I was afraid something might have happened to you. You know, I do feel guilty about your driving all this distance.
I enjoy the drive. Wow, is that bright? Let me fix it.
Well, thank you, thank you. Light blindness can be painful. Oh, you'll find a little present on that table.
Mr. Warlock, you've got to stop doing that.
Nonsense. Well, go on, open it.
It's my favorite cologne. But it's too expensive and you shouldn't have done it.
And you're kind enough to drive all the way down here just to read to me? No, it's just a small token of my very, very deep appreciation.
I enjoy reading to you. I read for several other people, you know that, and I don't expect to be paid. Now, you've got to promise me that you're not going to do it again.
Well, I see you're just as lovely as ever this morning. I'm glad there was no reason to worry about you.
Not me. Did you hear about Buzz Sims?
Yes, it was on the radio this morning.
You know, my husband and I were just arriving at his apartment for dinner when it happened.
Did you see the attacker?
Oh, no. Nobody has the slightest idea who did it, least of all Buzz Sims.
Well, perhaps it was a music lover.
Mr. Warlock, that's unkind.
forgive me, my dear. I didn't realize he was such a friend of yours. There was nothing personal intended. I've never met the man.
No, neither had I until last night. You know, his scrapbook was open to a page of your reviews. I remember how we laughed at the clever way that you phrased them. But they didn't seem so clever last night.
Ah, but we did have fun laughing together, didn't we?
Well, they were witty and literate. They were very cruel.
Not cruel. Objective. I've no doubt that Buzz Sims is a very nice man.
Buzz Sims has talent, Mr. Warlock. I'm not a critic, but I know that much.
I thought we were talking about music, young lady. I didn't say your friend didn't have talent. He's quite talented. But he betrayed that talent. Let's not talk about Buzz Sims. Why don't you go over there and read me my review of last night's Leonard Bernstein concert? I ravaged him. Absolutely ravaged him.
When we got here, the door was unlocked, and the room looked exactly like this.
Well, we checked this place out to make sure that robbery wasn't the motive. The tape recorder and the piano are the only two things of value. They're both still here, especially the piano.
What about money?
He says he doesn't keep any. Says that he gets $50 a week from his manager and credit cards.
That's what I do with Sally, except it hasn't quite worked out.
That's Mrs. McMillan's compact, isn't it, sir?
Yes, Sergeant. We heard voices from the bedroom and a cry for help. This door was locked, so I had to break it in. The tape recorder was playing and the windows open, so whoever it was must have escaped from the balcony.
Police, hold it right there.
Look out!
Are you really the police?
That's right. You Manny Sky?
Yeah.
Give me the tape.
What's on it?
Buzz's latest. Blues for Sally Ann.
What else?
Nothing, man. Just music.
Then why steal it?
I wasn't stealing. I was just borrowing.
You make a habit of breaking into other people's apartments to borrow things?
I didn't realize you'd be there to open the front door for me.
Well, why didn't you stop when I said police?
Because I didn't believe it. I thought you were the bums who attacked Buzz.
Any idea who they were?
The world's full of crazy people.
What about you, Sky? Why did Buzz fire you?
That is something that you'd have to ask Buzz. But if you think I'd kill him because of it, you're just as crazy as the rest of the world.
We better ask you some more questions. Downtown.
How come?
Because we want some answers.
Last evening, I had the misfortune of attending the rock concert at Carmel. You know, Naples was a total failure. Where Mr. Buzz
Listen to it.
otherwise enthusiastic audience.
I am listening. It's nice. Buzz has written himself a piece of music.
Under the music. Listen to the voice.
Voice? What voice? I'm grooving with the music.
Well, groove with the voice. Whose is it?
You any voices, Sergeant?
Of course I do. Isn't that why you took the tape? Isn't that the real reason you wanted it?
The reason I wanted it was to hear the new drummer solo. They've told me that the new guy's good, but hearing is believing.
You know whose voice it is. You're protecting somebody.
Commissioner, I don't hear voices. Too bad about you and the sergeant here.
Officer, get him out of here. And Manny, don't leave town.
Oh, wow. I wish I could stay and hear the drummer solo. Maybe you'll call me back later, huh?
I don't think we're going to get too far with him.
I don't think we're going to get that far.
You know, Commissioner, maybe you should,
Maybe I should what?
ask Mrs. McMillan to listen to that tape. No offense, sir, but I am a police officer trained to follow leads in their logical order. That's all.
What logical order?
Number 1, Buzz Sims names a composition for Mrs. McMillan. Number 2, her photograph with her signature on it is found in his apartment. Number 3, he sends roses and then invites the two of you to dinner. And number 4, her compact was found there.
And what does your police training tell you?
That there just might possibly be some connection between Buzz Sims and Mrs. McMillan.
Sergeant Enright, my wife happens to be the most honest person I know. When she says she's not withholding information, she's not. As for the photograph, I had it checked out this morning. It was on file at a newspaper office. A man telephoned asking for it, and they gave it to him. As for the compact, I'll check with my wife.
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Oh, thank you. Yes. Mm-hmm. Thank you. That was DMV, sir. That RD1 license plate belongs to an Arthur Drake of Mill Valley. Guess I'd better find out what his story is, huh?
I don't know how it got there. I didn't even know it was lost.
Well, if you remembered where you lost it, it might help.
Well, I've lost a lot of other compacts, Mac. What makes this one so important? The fact that it was found in a man's apartment?
Oh, I know it was a plant, but if I knew where you lost it, I might have an idea who planted it.
Sure, that's what you're saying, but that's not what you think. You actually believe that I lost this compact in Buzz's apartment and that I knew him.
When are you going to start believing I believe you?
When you start believing me. I suppose you think I made up that whole story about the picture, that I really did give Buzz a picture that was signed affectionately Sally M, and that I lied to you about.
I checked on the photograph this morning. A man called identifying himself as Buzz, asking for the picture, and they mailed it to him.
You checked on it. You checked on me, Mac.
Well, you started to do it yourself last night.
But it's one thing for me to check on me. It's another thing for you to check on me.
I wasn't checking on you. I was checking on a photograph.
But it was a photograph of me. How could you?
Well, it was very simple. All you have to do is pick up the telephone and start dialing.
You checked on me because you were worried. And you were worried because you thought I might be in some kind of jeopardy. I also forgot that this was the compact that you gave me for our anniversary last year. It was kind of dumb. Forgive me?
Forgiven?
Oh, no, not so easy. Make me suffer.
Suffer.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead, suffer. Come on, baby, go.
Oh, I feel terrible.
Feel better?
Yeah, much. Whatever happened to that engraved money clip that I gave you the same year?
This?
I never would have forgiven you if you lost it. And the year before that pen and pencil set?
These?
And the lighter?
I stopped smoking.
You mean you're telling me you no longer have that beautiful lighter?
I no longer smoke.
You lost it.
No, I
You lost it.
just don't remember where I...
You
okay,
lost
I
it.
lost
Aha.
Aha. Mhm.
Got any idea where you might have lost it?
No.
Exactly. It's upstairs in the bureau drawer in the back behind your handkerchiefs.
Used to be. Isn't there anymore.
You mean you really lost it?
Is this 4200 Laurel, Mr. Arthur Drake?
Yes.
Police. May I come in?
Sure. What's the trouble? Oh, excuse the way I look. I don't usually walk around like this. But then I'm not usually at home at this time of the day either. You see, I was visiting a client out this way and spilled some coffee on my trousers. My wife's in the kitchen cleaning them right now. What can I do for you?
Mr. Drake, you were observed leaving 604 North Lombard last night at about 8 o'clock. Would you mind telling me what you were doing there?
Well, police, sweetheart.
Yeah? What's he done, officer?
I haven't done anything, sweetheart. He's just asking a few routine questions.
Oh? I'd like to ask a few questions about your routine myself.
I was just inquiring as to his whereabouts yesterday at 8 p.m.
I like you, officer. We think alike. I asked that question when he got home at 8:30.
Your car was seen leaving the address at exactly 8:05 p.m.
It wasn't 604 North Lombard by any chance, was it, officer? That's where she lives.
She?
Louise Montgomery by name. Maybe with you here, we can get the truth out of him. Have you been seeing that cheap Tootsie again? Oh, no wonder you look so wrinkled all the time. I'm grounding you, Buster. No more pants for a week.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, at least give me my car keys. I gotta get to work.
Take a taxi.
Correct, Commissioner. Angle is not right at all.
Come here. Sims had to be facing the one who stabbed him. And he had to see who it was.
Then he lied to us. He must be protecting someone.
Well, if he lied about this, what else is he lying about?
Well, obviously, Mrs. McMillan. I mean, about all the evidence that indicated that he knew her.
You better check out Hardy One's alibi.
Yes, sir. I'm on my way. Well, Commissioner, I hope I didn't offend you about Mrs. McMillan.
Not at all. In fact, you were right about her.
I was?
She is involved in this case. She just doesn't know how or why. What I can't figure out is the reason why. I mean, what could anybody hope to gain by involving Sally?
Well, I could have sworn that was where I bought it.
Why don't you ask the commissioner where you bought it? He's so big with the questions.
I can't ask him. I want to surprise him. And I'm not going to stop until I find it. He really loved that lighter.
Yeah? You don't think he was trying to tell you something when he lost it, do you?
He lost it because he quit smoking.
Oh. Well, then how come... Oh, never mind.
Anyway, I'm not buying it so much for the gift, but more for the sentiment.
Oh, I see. You're buying him another one so you keep reminding him he lost it. Clever girl. Keep him feeling guilty.
Mildred, I hope you don't mind my saying this, but you give the worst marriage advice I'd ever heard.
I think I mind your saying it.
How about some ice cream, my treat?
Okay, Mrs. McMillan, but it's my turn to buy.
Okay.
You know, on second thought, I think I like your treat better.
Don't you love that view? That's one of Buzz's tunes.
Oh, yeah?
Isn't that the cutest little monkey?
Yeah.
Hi there. Here you go. Here's another one. Take the nickel. Come on. She's under. She's help me. Somebody do something. Help me. Somebody get a rope. Get a rope, somebody. Please.
Help! The current's got her. It's taking her away.
Let me through the rope.
That won't reach her. It's not long enough. Please get another one.
Hey, there's someone over there in the water.
Help!
Hurry up, Don. Looks like she's in trouble.
What's that over there, a shark?
Lady, that's a boy.
Oh, it looks grown up to me.
Help me!
That boat's gonna hit her.
That boat's gonna save her. Here, grab this life preserver.
I can't reach it.
All right, hold on. I'll get you another one.
Oh, she's got it. Keep your head high, Mrs. McMillan. High!
Here, give me your hand. Easy does it, lady. Well, take it easy, lady.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a million. They were a lot of help.
I hate to mention it, Mrs. McMillan, but you lost a shoe, right?
I think we'll go back and look for it later, Mildred.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Oh, what happened, honey? Testing the water?
Yes, I'm here every day at 10 and 4.
Listen, shouldn't I find a phone? I mean, call a commissioner or something, huh?
We'll call him when we get home.
Great, Buzz.
Thanks. Okay, fellas, let's take it from the top again, huh?
First, a couple of questions.
Oh. Can't they wait, Commissioner? I've got a concert tomorrow night. A lot of lost time to make up.
2 questions, Buzz, that's all.
Take 5, guys. Okay. What can't wait?
The tape you were playing last night, Buzz, what was on it before you recorded Blues for Sally M?
I don't remember. Didn't erase properly. Have to have that head fixed.
Whose voice is that?
I don't recognize it, but whoever it is, it can't be very important. Otherwise, I wouldn't record it over it. Why?
Manny Sky broke into your apartment this morning and tried to steal it. Why would he want it?
I haven't the faintest idea. What'd he say?
He wouldn't say anything. Do you think he could have been the one who attacked you?
Manny? Oh, no. Oh, Manny's a friend of mine. We've been friends for years.
Friendship didn't keep you from firing him. Why did you fire him? I thought Manny Sky was the best.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid was is right, but I can't go into that. What goes on in this group stays here.
Where'd you get this?
I've never seen it before.
It was found in your desk drawer.
Some chick probably left it there during a party. Why does it matter?
Because it belongs to my wife.
Oh, man. I can see where your head's at. Hey, Commissioner, you gotta believe this. There's nothing between me and your wife.
Well, you need it. You'll love it.
Of course I still see Manny. Just because Buzz fired him doesn't make him my enemy. I've got plenty of my own. But Manny's not one of them. And neither is Buzz.
Why did Buzz fire him?
You know, Commissioner, if I were as bad at my job as you are at yours, I'd be out of business. What have you got? 2 suspects, Manny and me? Has it come to that, Commish?
I asked you why Buzz fired Manny.
Who knows with artists? Didn't you ever hear about temperament? Maybe one day Buzz decided he didn't like the way Manny brushed his hair or combed his teeth. Plenty of reason there for one artist to fire another. But no reason to kill, Commish. I'd offer you one, but I'm sure you don't drink on duty. Me? I always drink on duty. How else could I put up with him?
I take it you don't have too much respect for artists.
Did you ever know a babysitter who had respect for the babies? But it pays well.
And bugs you.
Only when it rains. Because I know, you see, that he'd be nothing without me.
I wonder if the Baroness agrees.
That dame should have stayed in Milwaukee and led the kind of life she was meant to lead. Beer and babies.
What bugs you there? Buzz has her and you don't?
Nobody has the Baroness. She likes names, as long as they are names. And right now, Buzz is.
And you're not.
Listen, nobody ever knows the names of the people who make the stars. There are 1 million kids with enough talent to make it, if they're lucky enough to connect with a Joe Layton.
I get the impression that you don't like anybody.
Commissioner, you're perceptive. Perceptive enough, I hope, to also realize that I didn't stab him.
But you did get a kick out of it. I'll bet you even enjoy Peter Warlock's reviews.
It's always nice to know that being one of the beautiful people doesn't keep you from getting hurt.
And you're quite a beauty yourself, you know that? And if you're worried about what to do with that body after you're gone, don't forget the hard fun.
Yes? It's for you.
What?
Commissioner, we just had a call. Your wife's had an accident.
At first, I thought that falling off the pier might have been an accident.
She was pushed, Commissioner, if not by the monkey's friend.
Then when we came home and we saw all this, I knew there had to be some kind of a connection.
Where were you during all this, Mildred?
I was shopping with your wife. Lucky, huh?
Mac, what am I going to do about clothes now?
What about mine?
She can't wear your clothes.
Were they shredded too?
No, just mine.
Lucky, huh?
Mac, you wouldn't be making light of this if it weren't more serious than I thought.
Hello?
Commissioner, this is Matty Sky. I think it's about time we had a talk. Can you come to my apartment right away?
Yeah, where do you live?
309 East Fillmore, apartment C.
Right, I'll be right there. I'll have somebody come from the lab and check this out. Maybe they can find a clue as to who did it.
Oh, we know who did it.
You do?
We think it might have been the Baroness.
Who but a woman would shred another woman's clothes?
Especially the dress I was going to wear to the concert tonight.
That's Buzz Sims, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, don't touch that. I just painted it. Yeah, that's Buzz Sims. He's the greatest, isn't he?
How well do you know him?
He's the reason I moved here.
Oh, well, then you're friends.
Well, actually,
It's more like I'm his fan, you know?
You know him at all?
Well, I haven't actually met him, if you want to get technical. But I see him in the halls, you know, things like that. Well, he's always being followed by those hangers-on. Poor baby.
He was attacked last night in his apartment.
Yeah, I read it in the newspaper.
Where were you last night about 8 o'clock?
Right here.
Was anyone with you?
No, I was alone.
A man was seen leaving this building at 8:05 last night. His name was Arthur Drake. Does that name mean anything to you?
No,
You don't know Arthur Drake?
never heard of him. I'd like to help you, but at 8 o'clock last night, I was in the bathtub.
Well, now, if you don't know Mr. Drake, can you explain why his wife accused him of seeing you again last night? Mentioned you by name, in fact.
She knows me by name? Oh, that bum tells everything.
Then he was with you.
I'm telling you the truth. I was in the bathtub. Only I wasn't alone. Could you get that?
Oh, sure. Hello? Yes, Commissioner.
I'm on my way to Manny Skies. When you're finished there, pick up the Baroness for questioning.
Yes, sir. You painted the phone?
Manny! Operator, this is Commissioner McMillan. Send an ambulance to 309 East Fillmore, apartment C, right away.
Talk. Well, wait, we were paid to shut him up.
Who paid you?
I don't know. I don't even know who he is. Look, mister, I don't know who paid us. We got a call to meet some guy in a bar. When we got there, the bartender tells us to go out in the alley. This guy comes up behind us, tells us not to turn around, and shoves an envelope at us. That's all I know. They don't pay to ask questions in my business.
Well, let me tell you something. You're out of business.
The Baroness appears to have vanished, sir. Most of her clothes are gone, and nobody seems to know where she went.
Well, let's find her. Put out an APB if you have to.
Yes, sir. Now, about that organ grinder, he's legit. Says that a couple of minutes before Mrs. McMillan fell in, a man gave him $5 to play a Buzz Sims tune.
Did he get a good look at the man who pushed her?
Well, he's checking the mug shots right now, sir, but I don't think he has a very good memory for faces. I think the monkey's going to be of greater help to us. Seriously. Look, I showed them both the Baroness's picture. Nothing from the organ grinder, but that monkey. I mean, the way he carried on, he's either met the Baroness or he wants to. I don't know why that struck me so funny. How's Mrs. McMillan, sir?
She's out shopping for new clothes. I think she's going to make it. What happened to the license plate?
Dead end. Drake's alibi holds up.
I should think so, with a plate like Artie 1. Criminal types rarely use their name on license plates.
Is there anything new from the hospital about Manny Sky?
Still in a coma. We found the other hood. Just about as helpful as the first one. Yes?
Commissioner, the Deputy District Attorney to see you.
Send him in.
I gotta go find something to get this off my hand.
Makes snappy reading, doesn't it?
Mac, I wanted an arrest, and I want it before tomorrow night's concert.
So do I.
You sure?
What does that mean?
It means I wonder just how hard you're trying.
Well, if you have any suggestions as to how I can try harder, don't hesitate to make one.
I have.
Make it.
Try grilling your wife.
There's no connection between my wife and Buzz Sims.
There has to be. All the evidence points to it.
You know, I can see how you lose so many cases.
And all I can see is a police commissioner who's lost his objectivity.
And what have you done with all your objectivity? Reached a conclusion that my wife stabbed a man
6 inches taller than she is.
with a downward thrust while facing him so that he had a clear view of her while she was doing it. Then, to really throw us off, she planted her own compact in his apartment with a signed photograph on the piano. Then, being of sound mind and ingenious body, jumped into the bay and shredded all her clothes at the height of the season. Now, get out of here. I have work to do.
Mac, you're still trying to protect her. If Buzz Sims had written a composition for any other woman, and both her compact and her picture had been found in his apartment, that woman would be subjected to the most extensive and thorough questioning by the police, no matter how well she explained it to her husband or how much he believed her.
It looks awful.
Oh, it'll be fine. Oh, we'll just take a tuck here and a tuck there, and maybe a little tuck here and a tuck there, and here a tuck, there a tuck, everywhere a tuck.
Mildred, the concert's tonight, you know.
I did my best to get Buzz to delay it.
You don't think anything will happen to him, do you, Mac?
Point is, sitting in the middle of a well-lighted stage, if anybody wanted to take a pot shot at him, there's nothing we could do about it.
Well, why don't you think that he'd listen to you and postpone it?
Because money talks even louder than the commissioner. It's a sold-out house tonight.
How do I look? The truth?
Gorgeous. Hello?
Commissioner? Manny Sky's still delirious, but he's talking. Maybe you should stop over here on your way to the concert.
He's going to kill her. He's going to kill her. He's going to kill Buzz.
Who's Guy? Who's going to kill Buzz?
He's dead. But he's going to kill him. He's going to kill him. Dead.
What could he mean by that? He's dead, but he's going to kill you.
Beats me. Doesn't make any kind of sense, does it?
I hope it doesn't. I asked you before, Buzz, please delay this concert tonight.
Now, look, Commissioner, I appreciate your concern, but I can't walk out of here tonight. I got a whole sold-out house full. Blues for Sally M is too important to postpone. Besides, I've got a feeling I haven't got that much time left.
A few days wouldn't make that much difference to you, and it could be crucial to our investigation.
What if I don't have a few days left? You know how many artists die young?
You know how many live to enjoy their grandchildren?
There's a line around the block waiting for standing room. Critics from every paper in California are here.
What about Peter Warlock?
Warlock's not likely to be here. Buzz, he covers them by radio. You know that.
He's got to be here. He's got to review me tonight.
He doesn't make all that much difference, Buzz. The others are the...
I don't care about the others. There are no others.
I just hope the only thing we have to worry about tonight is a critic.
It's 15 minutes. On stage in 15 minutes, everybody.
Any luck, sir?
No, it's going ahead of schedule, but I've been thinking about the kind of man we're looking for, Sergeant. My wife, Buzz, Manny Sky, 3 attempts, none killed.
You mean he's inept? Well, that's good, isn't it?
Deliberately inept, and he's giving off signals.
You mean he's asking for help? Like that fellow in Chicago who wrote on the wall, "Stop me before I kill more"?
That's right, only our man has the grace to say, "Stop me before I kill." And we gotta find him and give him that help before he gets tired of asking.
introduce a new composition. Blues for Sally M.
Can I help? Well, who are you? Police. And you? Well, I work here. I left my flashlight when they called me to fix the heater. Well, where is it?
Before he comes off.
But he hasn't finished taking his bows yet.
Where is he?
Well, he's still on stage taking bows, isn't he?
No, didn't he come down here? Where's Sims?
The guard says he walked right past him out the stage door. Says there were no orders to stop him.
Lost him already, Commissioner? This is obviously your first Buzz Sims concert. He never takes the encores.
What does he do?
Well, he usually likes to relax after a concert by jamming in North Beach. Well, I read it in a magazine.
Sergeant, you check out Columbus Avenue. I'll take Broadway.
What about me?
Oh, you come with me, my little treasure trivia. One more to make her so, Sergeant, so go on home.
Hi, Mac. Hey, it's been a long time.
It has.
Table for you and your friend?
My wife?
Oh, sure, Mac. I get it.
We're looking for Buzz Sims. You know him?
Oh, Buzz, babe. Yeah, he was here a while ago, but you missed him.
How long ago did he leave?
About an hour.
Huh?
About an hour. He jammed a while with the boys, and then he split.
Say where he was going?
No.
Was he alone?
Buzz always has a girl with him. Do you know someday I'm gonna get lucky and it's gonna be me? Was she a blonde? Honey, I didn't look at her. Just like I'm not looking at you.
Barbara, get it over here!
Okay, I'm coming. No table?
No table.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, it's unfortunate, but I think we've had it. Ready to go home?
Only if you promise to look at me.
Well, it's awfully late, but I promise.
Thank you for making it my night after all, Mac.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I set that alarm to come on so we could listen to Peter Warlock's review this morning.
That's a good idea. Let's listen to it.
Okay.
Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, and music lovers. This is Peter Warlock, greeting you with an earache and a headache. The cause? A gentleman named Buzz Sims. Last night at Concert Hall, Mr. Sims subjected myself and the public to an evening of music that brought disgrace to that sacred hall. Billed as Mr. Sims' first attempt at serious
thing to
music,
say.
it can only be labeled a total failure. Otherwise, it was not music. It was not music.
You're not gonna tape that. It's not even worth listening to.
Ignored. Civilized minds can only shrink from such frenzy. Mr. Sims' following either possesses a tin ear, or like its leader, a genuine contempt for good music. From such frenzy. Mr. Sims has managed to attract a following that, I suppose,
On the tape,
either
that's Peter
possesses a tin
Warlock's
ear,
voice too,
or
isn't it?
like its leader, a genuine Sims, whose father was a renowned musicologist, has forsaken his naturally inherent
I never feel the same about that man again. Where are you going, Mac? We haven't even been asleep yet.
See Buzz.
We've been looking for Buzz all night. Where do you expect to find him now?
Listening to that review.
Matched in her name. However, she would be completely within her rights if she were to sue for defamation of character. And the court should deal with Mr. Sims as forcefully as they would with any other rapist. Gentlemen and music lovers, this is Peter Warlock, greeting you with...
These are all good. You know that?
And unimportant. He's the only one that matters.
No, he's just one critic. And not a particularly good one at that. Look at the paper he writes for. Circulation, 30,000. That's really going to break your career, isn't it? You've studied music, Buzz. Surely you've read Stravinsky's reviews.
Am I supposed to be comforted because my experience isn't unique? You're in the public eye. How do you react to bad reviews?
Well, pretty good. Now, but then I've had a lot of practice.
Earache and a headache. The cause? A gentleman named Buzz Sims. Last night...
Why did he hate me?
Mr. Sims subjected myself and the
What did he
public
want from me?
to music that brought disgrace.
He didn't like anything I ever write. I thought maybe this time.
You can't spend the rest of your life trying to please someone else. A critic? A parent? Whatever you do, it's never enough for them. Because you're doing it, not them.
Billed as Mr. Sims' first attempt at serious music, it can only be labeled a total failure.
Peter Warlock, he's the luckiest accident that ever happened to this rag. You see, we're what you call a shopper.
I thought you called it a throwaway.
Oh, I see you've been around journalism.
Enough to find it a little unusual for a throwaway to have a music.
For a shopper to have.
Shopper to have a music critic.
Yeah, it's kind of classy, huh?
What are Warlock's credentials?
Oh, the best. Look, he writes well and mean. And people like to read someone vitriolic. Look, it sells papers, increases advertising.
And kills talent.
Yeah, how about that?
If he sells so much advertising, why doesn't a larger paper have him?
Oh, he's had offers. But he likes it here. Yeah, he likes his privacy. Anyhow, he's a strange little guy, and I don't like to bug him.
How did you find him?
Oh, he found me. I thought I could use some reviews to fill the spaces between my ads. So I hired this matronly piano teacher. Then I began getting these vindictive letters attacking her reviews from Peter Warlock. I began printing his letters, and I got an immediate response, even from the music world. You know, praising his letters. So I promoted the piano teacher to proofreader, and I hired Warlock as critic. He's doing so good now. He's even got his own radio show. You ever heard it?
Yeah, my wife and I stopped to catch it. Only this morning.
Peter Warlock is not the kind of man that you can just drop in on.
Don't tell me he's more unpleasant in person than he is on paper.
When I think of how darling I used to think he was, it's amazing how much I've changed since that review. We're not driving all the way out there because you think he's a suspect. Critics don't actually kill, man.
Oh, critics kill, all right.
Of course, it's no imposition, my dear. It's always such a pleasure to see you. And an unscheduled visit, why, it's like a golden nugget in my day.
We'll try to be brief, Mr. Warlock, but I would like to talk to you a little about your reviews of Buzz Sims' work.
Oh, and has it become illegal to criticize the lack of talent these days, Commissioner?
Buzz Sims is a gifted man, Mr. Warlock. He proved that last night. Your review is unfair.
Yes, I'm sure he's gifted. But he simply failed to display those gifts last night. And it is especially disappointing when you know that Albert Sims Sr. was one of this country's most eminent musicologists and a classical musician of the highest order.
That's Buzz's father.
But the son rejected his father's music in favor of what the world chooses to call pop music. Personally, I find it blasphemous to use the word music to describe that kind of noise at all.
But Buzz has the right to compose what he wants. He doesn't have to do what his father wants, and he certainly doesn't have to do what you want.
And you, young lady, know nothing about music. How dare you encourage him to prostitute his talents? Composing a work as inferior as the one he named for you.
Mac, it's too bright. Mr. Warlock has light blindness.
Sorry, Mr. Warlock.
It's all right. It's the bane of my existence. I'm afraid the light causes me intense pain. And now, if you'll be so kind as to excuse me, I'm afraid I must get some rest.
It was nice of you to let us come. I'm sorry about our disagreement. Will you be all right?
Well, certainly, my dear. Thank you for caring. You're a sweet person, and I can understand why any composer would want to write for you. Perhaps someday one will write a proper piece in your honor.
Why did you open those drapes? You knew about his light blindness.
Know about it? Just wanted to be sure.
Check on everything, don't you? Don't you trust anyone?
We're dealing with a potential murderer.
You don't think that I'd drive all that distance twice a week if I didn't know that Peter Warlock was almost blind? He has progressive hemerolopia. They say he might lose his sight completely before the year's over.
McMillan,
We've located the Baroness, sir. We have her at headquarters now.
be there in a half an hour. The Baroness.
Oh, I'm going with you. I've got a few questions I'd like to
taking
ask
you home. Somehow you don't bring out the best in her.
Well, I'd like to bring out the truth in her, like what she's been doing between the time my clothes were slashed until now.
I was on a skiing trip in Aspen.
A little sudden, wasn't it?
My life is a series of last-minute invitations. I'd hoped to make it back in time for Buzz's concert, of course, but I'm rather bad at keeping track of that sort of thing.
You ever considered investing in a watch?
Mm-mm. But I do accept gifts, Commissioner.
When did you leave for Aspen?
Just after you saw me at the hospital. When I got back to my apartment, the phone was ringing off the hook. They wanted me to come right then.
Do you expect us to believe that you skip out on your boyfriend while he's in the hospital?
There are better ways to word that, Sergeant. But you don't have to take my word for it. Check with any of my friends at Aspen. That's if they're still at Aspen, of course. By now, they may have left for San Moritz.
Have you ever met any of Buzz Sims' family?
I'm not exactly the kind of a girl you bring home to meet Mama. Or hadn't you noticed, Commissioner? But as a matter of fact, I did have dinner with Buzz and his father one night. A real weirdo, that one.
I'd be interested in knowing the kind of person you call a weirdo.
You're sweet. You know that? Well, for openers, he was barely speaking to Buzz. He didn't approve of Buzz's music, it seems. And we ate by candlelight. Not because it was romantic, but because the old man had weak eyes. Bright lights gave him a headache. And we hadn't finished the first course when he began to rage at me, accused me of ruining Buzz by encouraging his interest in pop music. As if I care what Buzz composes. I'm the girl who put up with Blues for Sally M, remember? Shaking that mop of white hair at me, he looked exactly like a shabby Beethoven.
Long white hair?
And a mustache and a beard. Don't they always?
Would you remember where he lives?
He doesn't. He died 3 years ago.
What's the matter, sir?
I want you to go to Peter Warlock's house. Pick him up. If he's not there, find him. I'll pick up Buzz Sims.
Commissioner, your home phone is still busy.
Buzz, don't apologize. No, it wasn't. I considered it a tremendous success. I'm proud that you named it after me. No, I'm not busy. Where are you? Sure, I can come now. You shouldn't be alone when you're in a mood like this. Buzz, I'll be right there.
Thanks. I'll meet you. Central, this is Commissioner McMillan. Get my home again, please.
McMillan residence. Oh, hi, Commissioner. No, you just missed her. Not a minute ago. Well, she said to the concert hall to see Buzz Sims.
Thank you.
Commissioner? Commissioner? He sure isn't one for chit-chat.
Central, have Sergeant Enright meet me at the concert hall to dispatch 2 available units there immediately.
Buzz, where are you?
I'm afraid he's not here, my dear. You had to come back, didn't you?
Mr. Warlock, what are you doing here?
You came back to hear the applause again. Isn't that right? Applause for a composition named for you. You probably think you deserve it. For inspiring him.
Mr. Warlock, what's happened? Where's Buzz?
You know what you really deserve?
Buzz?
No use shouting. We're quite alone, my dear. Your friend's dead. I killed him. And now I'm going to kill the person responsible for his tobacco. Just listen to that drivel. And listen to them out there. Nothing. Total silence. No tears. No shouting. Nothing. And this, my dear, is your encore.
Bravo! Bravo!
Encore! Bravo! Bravo! Encore! Encore! Bravo!
Encore!
Oh, Buzz, what have we done to you? Then Buzz actually stabbed himself.
That's right. You see, first the Warlock side fell in love with you, and then the Buzz side couldn't help but do the same.
And that made Warlock hate me for encouraging all the things he hated in Buzz. How could anybody write such cruel reviews of his own work?
We all have our own Warlock side. We're all our own worst critics, aren't we? Buzz just carried it further than we do.
Why didn't anybody see what was happening to him?
Because he was surrounded by people who didn't care enough. Layton, the Baroness. Well, the one person who cared enough was Manny Sky.
Is that why Manny wanted the tape, to protect Buzz?
I think he wanted it to verify his own hunch. You see, he suspected Warlock was Buzz's father, and yet he knew Buzz's father was dead. He got about that far when they nailed him.
And Buzz sent them to stop him.
The Warlock side did. The important thing is that Manny's going to be okay. And it's what he said in his delirium that pointed us on the right track.
Which personality do you think will survive?
That's too soon to say. Composers can live without critics, but critics can't live without composers. Warlock can't survive without Buzz, and yet Buzz has to learn to live without Warlock.
It must be terrible to share your life with an alter ego.
Well, that depends on who it is. Sometimes it's very nice. Wait till you see my encore.
টিকটক কুইন হইতে যা যা লাগে মানে নাচ গান অভিনয় আর শাবনূর মৌসুমীকে হারায় দেওয়ার মতো এইসব যা কিছু সবই মালার আছে অথচ আসল জিনিসটাই নাই একটা ভালো স্মার্টফোন আমি আমার জীবন দিয়ে ভালোবাসি মালাকে মালা তার জীবন দিয়ে ভালোবাসে টিকটককে অবশ্য টিকটককে মালার ভালো না বাইসাও উপায় নাই টিকটক কুইন হইতে যা যা লাগে মানে নাচ গান অভিনয় আর শাবনূর মৌসুমীকে হারায় দেওয়ার মতো এইসব যা কিছু সবই মালার আছে অথচ আসল জিনিসটাই নাই একটা ভালো স্মার্টফোন ফলে আমাদের দুজনের একসাথে দেখা একটাই স্বপ্ন একইভাবে ভাঙা যায় মাঝে মাঝে কাজের মধ্যে আনন্দ খুঁজে নিতে আমি হয়ে যাই বলিউডের সালমান খান কিংবা ঢালিউডের ডিপজল চৌধুরী। এই চুরি কইরা অন্যের জীবনযাপন করার সবচেয়ে মজার অভিজ্ঞতাটা হইল এক পুলিশের পোশাক পইরা চোর থেকে পুলিশ বনে যাওয়া যায় আর নিজেকে নিজে এই বইলা সান্ত্বনা দেওয়া যায়, বাবু সারা জীবন এই সূত্রটা না ভুলিস, মানুষ মাত্রই কখনো চোর কখনো বাসে পুলিশ। হ্যালো, ইন্সপেক্টর নাজিমুদ্দৌলা বলছি। ভালো 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 ভালো, শোনো শোনো শোনো, আমি ধরছি, বলো। আমার পকেটে 20 টাকাও নাই, অথচ আমি মালার জন্য মোবাইল পছন্দ করি, মোবাইল মার্কেট ঘুইরা ঘুইরা, যদিও জানি না মোবাইল কেনার টাকাটা কই থেকে আসবে। এইরকম দুঃখে কবিরা নীরব হয়ে যায় আর আমার হয় উল্টা। আমি মনে মনে বলি, হায় রে মালা, তোকে দেখলেই কমে যায় হৃদয়ের জ্বালা, অপেক্ষায় আছি তোমাকে করব এমন কাবু, প্রেমে পাগল হয়ে সারাদিন শুধু ডাকবা বাবু বাবু বাবু।
আব্বা আম্মা যদি তোর ছোটকালে জানতো তোর হাইটের লগে তোর গাদামির হাইটটা একটু বাড়বো, তাহলে নিজ দিয়ে এমনিতেই 6 ইঞ্চি কেটে দিত, তোর আর গাদামি বাড়তো। শুন, আব্বা আম্মা যা বলে তা কর, বিয়েটা কর, আর আমার রাস্তাটা একটু ক্লিয়ারটা কর।
ও, আমি তোমার পথের কাটা না? তোরা কেউ চাস না যে আমি পড়াশোনা করে এই নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াই?
তুই তো নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াস নাই, তুই তো আমার কাঁধের উপর ভর করে দাঁড়াই আসছিস। এই আসো। এই কি তোরা সকালবেলা এরকম কাঁদতেছিস কেন? আব্বাও কাঁদতেছে, আম্মাও কাঁদতেছে, কিছু আম্মা কি সকালবেলা কি সিরিয়াল দেখা শুরু করছে? তাহলে কিছু চুরি হয়েছে বাসায়? কেউ মারা গেছে? কেউ কি মরার আগে হসপিটালে অ্যাডমিট হয়েছে? তাহলে কি হয়েছে? সবাই এরকম আয়োজন করে কাঁদতেছে কেন?
বাবা মা বলতেছে আমার নাকি পড়াশোনার দরকার নাই, ধান থাকলে নাকি ধানের মাঝে চিটাও থাকে, আমি নাকি চিটা।
হ্যাঁ, তোর তো ঠিকই বলছে। আর তুই কখনো দেখছো আব্বা আম্মা পোলাবাড়ির সাথে মিথ্যা কথা বলে?
ভাই কি ওই কথা কইছে? কইছে আমার 1 মাসের মধ্যে বিয়ে করা লাগবে, বিয়ে করে 9 মাসের মধ্যে বাচ্চা পয়দা দেওয়া লাগবে।
মাত্র 9 মাস টাইম দিছে? তুই তো নির্ঘাত ফেল করবি। মানে তোর যে পড়াশোনার কন্ডিশন, তুই 9 মাসের সাথে তোর আরো মিনিমাম 4 মাস টাইম দেওয়া লাগবে, তারপর যদি 12। আকার দোকানদাররা অবশ্য নতুন যারা বিয়ে করে তাকে চেয়ার দিকে তাকায় থাকে 2 পয়সা ইনকামের জন্য, তোর দিয়ে সেটাও হবে না। তুই চিন্তা বাদ। হ্যাঁ বল।
তুইও?
কি?
আমি আগে সন্দেহ করছিলাম তুই আমার মায়ের পেটের ভাই না। মায়ের পেটের ভাই হলে তুই এরকম করে কথা বলতে পারতি না। তোর আমার না কোনো মিল নাই, না আছে স্বভাবের মিল, না আছে চরিত্রের মিল, না আছে তোর এই যে চেহারার মিল, গায়ের কালারের মিল, কোনো কিছু মিল নাই। বাইকটা
শোন, আব্বা আম্মা যদি তোর ছোটকালে জানতো তোর হাইটের লগে তোর গাদামির হাইটটা একটু বাড়বো, তাহলে নিজ দিয়ে এমনিতেই 6 ইঞ্চি কেটে দিত, তোর আর গাদামি বাড়তো। শুন, আব্বা আম্মা যা বলে তা কর, বিয়েটা কর, আর আমার রাস্তাটা একটু ক্লিয়ারটা কর।
ও, আমি তোমার পথের কাটা না, আমি তোমার জীবনের বাধা। তোরা কেউ আমার ভালো চাস না, তোরা কেউ চাস না যে আমি পড়াশোনা করে এই নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াই।
তুই তো নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াস নাই, তুই তো আমার কাঁধের উপর ভর করে দাঁড়ায় আসছিস। শোন, আমি তোর ছোট হিসেবে চাই তুই আব্বা আম্মার কথাটা শোন, তুই একটা মাসের মধ্যে বিয়েটা কর, আমি কবজি ডুবায়া তোর বিয়ার কাচ্চি খাবো, বুঝছস? এই, আসো।
Còn Busan thực sự là cũng phế vật đấy, đánh tí xong Busan cái đấy đúng phế mà. Chào máy ơi, cái xe máy cho nó tập mấy con cho thằng tự cuối cùng là xong. Mấy cái đây là lần thứ hai. Em thấy là hồi trước anh chơi nhưng mà em không quay. Mà anh nhớ cái nick anh chơi là gì rồi? Bảy có thằng đép hẳn là Minh Dương, tụi Minh Dương xuống hết tiền thật, tiền lắm. Mày mỗi tí à? Đi bớt rồi, không vừa anh bay hơn 20 vòng rồi đi bớt rồi bay. Anh chưa cả ấn nổ, anh chưa cả tăng tốc của ta thế. Vượt mức rồi, vượt mức xong rebirth, phải rebirth có điều kiện là rebirth nữa, xong rồi phải vào mở khóa nó ở cái bay một lần để đây. Tái sinh xong rồi bay lại chạm có xong nó mở khóa thì mày phải chuyển sang cái mới rồi. Sửa nhiều hay sửa. Ui xét kìa. Trời ơi. Rồi lấy một cái giáp này. Chuẩn không? Anh bay sửa nhanh ấy nhưng mà không tiếp tốc được. Bao nhiêu tiền là anh 3 tiền thì chết. Nó quá 200. Bây giờ anh stop ra, stop là phải trứng này. Mở trứng ở đây. Bình thường stop phải chúng người đâu nghe các móng chân rồi tiền đây sau xếp lại tiền sau ngon của anh đâu không à? Ôi trời ơi ai à. Game của tao sao cũng không ấy, sao tao ấn nhầm nút D thì là nó luôn tao chưa kịp lấy cũng không dấu dạo game ấn nhầm D luôn mà anh đang vợ chồng. Anh phải chỉ 7 phải không? Mà là vãi lìn game hay vãi gì tôi không biết gì nha. Đi xem này. Rồi. Một trong Đừng có nhắn gì đây? Đừng có nhắn tao đéo gì. Yes. Ngon, được, đúng rồi, ngon đấy. Nhờ mời anh sang nha. Trời sao chỉ tôi nhầm cái chỗ nào? Cái chỗ nào? Ai bảo mày đấy? Ai bảo mày đấy? Đó, chuẩn bị cho ra trường năm 4 đi, học từ bây giờ xong rồi thi. Chứ giờ nó học mà xong rồi hết năm sau tốt nghiệp nó có thi được không vậy? Chôn mà. Giờ mày học IELTS để chuẩn bị tốt nghiệp thực sự có kịp không? Giờ chuẩn bị tốt nghiệp mới học IELTS thực sự kịp không? Bảo từ trước cái đéo học có nên lười lên lợn đi. Bảo trước học đéo học. Hỏi anh từ đầu năm 2 đéo học Ai biết nó tới lúc lợn đi không phải lúc lúc được gì lúc mình lúc bị lợn đi nhưng mà đúng rồi, rất lâu rồi ra mới thích mà rất lâu hơn nữa thì ra con màu đen kia sự xịn hơn. Anh ra con mình thích mà vừa anh tưởng lag ấy thì anh ấn mãi thì ra con mình thích tôi hiểu lag mà lag bị đổ này chỉ cần này còn một con thread nữa không nhớ đấy đây là cái này xong rồi với cả một cái giáp máu nữa xong nó là một cái giáp yêu vẫn theo quỷ này hoàn tấn nó có ai tiếng nó bảo nó ghép mặt mình vào mà đó nên là chỉ vậy sao đâu mình chỉ vậy với sao mình chỉ vậy với sao đó dead của anh không tôi dead của anh không do xong trứng rồi đúng rồi do xong trứng vẫn thế thôi về qua cũng bay 24 tuổi rồi, 14 tuổi rồi, tuổi nó còn sao bay nhanh ấy, nó phát nổ bay nhanh điên. Không cái gì mà bay phát hơn 2 lap của anh không vậy, đéo phải ăn gì luôn, đéo kịp. Với ông Cương mới át mà, thế em bỏ tung tiền. Còn 9 người đóng, mà chắc muộn hơn. Gì bớt á đại sinh nghe vẫn thế mà yếu hơn đâu không từ để anh sao con đấy màu trắng nhỉ cái tưởng con màu vàng đây để thầy quay lại thầy ngược quay ở đây phải đặt cho đồ ngô cho một chút kim cương ấy có đâu không vậy không vậy bài của anh sử binh chi linh bung quang ấy chỉ đấu mỗi con xét với ở con azit được đấy thôi xếp lên trên chia 9 ấy xếp lên chia 9 là sử dụng bài quang uầy có sen gary à chắc có chỉ luôn đi qua 2 bạn thì thế chắc thế vừa hai anh em ha mày thích Thơm xinh không? Tao bảo nó tao bảo Thơm đấy xong cho nó khóc bịch tao bảo Thơm đấy nó khóc mày bảo thế nó khóc ấy không biết rồi nếu biết thôi tao ở nhà Phú Tiên thêm Phú gửi tao nếu anh xem mấy cái bài của chúng đang tao không biết Tao người sao con người tình cảm không? Tao người tình cảm không? Mày lấy đùa mày lấy đùa nó tưởng thật đấy Quại chưa hả? Ai vậy thế? Hả? Không làm kiểu nó vào làm phần công ty của marketing nhưng mà nó chỉ được làm về bản giấy của chỗ về bản giấy tờ ấy để phụ thôi xong rồi nó học theo thôi kiểu đấy không phải kế toán làm tuổi gì kế toán còn bố du lịch 35 về du lịch 35 à du lịch 35 à chuẩn chuẩn rồi cho thằng Cường ao rồi. Đi xem phố, đi xem xoáy giá phố. Và đúng rồi, anh đang bay còn đi được. Ôi nó xuống đây rồi. Vì nào yếu ra vì nào cả. Sao biết sao biết sao biết Chuẩn rồi em. Vừa vào phát tôi xuống thì thôi gì đúng. Gờ luôn, vừa vào phát tôi xuống thì gờ luôn. Đâu à đâu à vừa phát tôi xuống gờ luôn, đi ngay theo con đường bóng đá luôn. Bình đúng. Vẫn thua không thủ giờ mày đánh. Yes, quay ra xuống mà thực sự một chút biết quay không biết quay còn lên này được không hả? Cái đấy này giờ nó còn lên này được không vậy? Trong 5 năm nữa mấy cái thằng quỷ